What do these games have in common? Other than being fantastic games, they were also published by Square Enix. It's no surprise that Square Enix publishes bangers after bangers after bangers after... well, not all of them are bangers. They have published over 500 games worldwide and have cemented themselves as a company that most of the time doesn't disappoint. Out of all the games they've published, none is as underrated and forgotten as this one. A game that was so loved and respected by the majority of the gaming community, but now is neglected because of Square Enix's huge catalog of games, to the point that some people call it a GTA clone. Sleeping Dogs is an action-adventure game developed by United Front Games, released on August 13, 2012. At a first glance, Sleeping Dogs might look like a GTA clone, but when you actually play it, it's a standalone game that offers so much and executes it very well. As soon as you start the game, you are introduced to Wei Shen. He and a friend of his are making a deal with another local gangster, until a security guard catches them in the act. Wei fails to escape and is arrested, but meets an old friend, Jackie Ma. You, the player, realize that Wei wasn't a gangster in the first place, but an undercover cop, and all of this was a police operation to infiltrate and destroy a triad called the Sun On Yee. Because of Jackie, Wei was able to join the Water Street Boys, a branch of the Sun On Yee. But Wei must prove that he isn't a cop, since Winston, the leader of the Water Street Boys, and the others had a rat recently. Wei proves himself by eliminating one of Dog Eye's drug dealers. The thing that makes this plot special is Wei's deep attachment to the Sun On Yee, as Winston mentions that they are all brothers and requests that if anything happens to him, Wei would take over and look after the family.
Listen, Wei. Anything happens to me, you look after my people, okay? We're a family. Family has to stick together. This can be rough business. But one thing we got going for us is each other. Brothers, you know. I know people use that word, but it means something to me. And it should to you too. Not just that we're Sun On Yee. True brothers. Blood. We look after each other. And we look after the people we love.
We as the player were led to believe that the Sun On Yee were brutal, money-hungry gangster, which is mostly true, but soon realized that they are loyal and care for one another. As Uncle Po, the chairman of the Sun On Yee, puts it best,
I like the way you think. That's the attitude that makes us strong. Loyalty, discretion used to be more common.
We even attend Winston's wedding, but was ambushed by Dog Eye's triad posing as another clan called the 18K. It was a massacre. In the end, Winston and his fiancée died in his arm, and Uncle Po is severely injured and you have to escort him safely. This is the moment where as you progress the story, Wei's goals are more personal than professional. Just one day before the wedding, you had to accompany Winston's fiancée Peggy to help her choose her wedding dress and cake. She even asked for a special flower that can only be found in the garden temple, but isn't sold, so as the gentleman Wei is, he infiltrated the temple and fought his way out with the flower. Peggy was grateful and spoke about family and how you should always remember the people who love you.
You are family now, Wei. I have to look out for you, just like Winston.
This creates a bond between Wei and Peggy, which is why it's all the more personal when she and Winston died at their own wedding. Even Roland, his operation handler, addresses that Wei has become too attached and has become one of them.
Winston was a red pole, sure, but his wife, they fucking gunned down his wife on her wedding day.
We knew you would become personally attached, Wei. It's inevitable in an operation like this. And seeing something like that would be hard. Hard for anyone.
It's war now.
No, it's not. You're a cop, all right? Your job is to enforce the law. You can't remember that? I'll pull you out right now.
Pull me out?
Your job was to get close to Winston. Now, that's not much of a strategy anymore.
Get close to... Open your eyes, Raymond. I am Winston now. With him gone, I'll be taking his place. You want the chairman? I report to him now. You want the red poles? I'm one of them.
That's what worries me, Wei. You're one of them.
Wei starts having nightmares of the incident, and as the story progresses, it becomes more because of his involvement with the Sun On Yee. But at the same time, he's an undercover cop, which makes him question his actions and his sins. A really smart detail I want to point out is that when Wei wakes up from his nightmares, you can see him agitated and fidgeting around. But when you go to the bathroom and wash his face, it stops. Wei finds Dog Eyes and gives him to Winston's mother to avenge her son. Uncle Po dies in the hospital. With no chairman and Wei being a branch leader, he gets involved in a power struggle over the leadership of the Sun On Yi. Attacked by the 18K, the branch leaders agree on an election with Wei siding with another branch leader that goes by the name of Broken Nose Jiang against another branch leader, Big Smile Lee. Lee disagrees with the tradition and states that he's the only one capable of leading them. Thomas Pendrew, who is the coordinator of this police operation, orders Wei to get off the case since the Sun On Yi is now crippled without their chairman. Wei refuses in fear of Lee taking over, which would cause problems for everyone. Lee attacks the other branches in an attempt to eliminate the competition and intimidate them into voting for him. He even kidnaps Jackie and buries him until Wei finds him. Just before the election, Wei receives a text message from Jackie to meet him, but he finds Jackie hanged and disemboweled on a pipe. Wei gets knocked out and is tortured by Li Shentong. Wei manages to escape and eliminates Tong. To settle this once and for all, Wei attacks Li's compound and eliminates anyone who is with him. Li reveals that Pendrew sold him out. They both fight with Wei eliminating Li, ending the civil war and allowing Jiang to become the chairwoman of the Sun On Yi. Wei is commended for his work but can't expose Kendrup since he is promoted and out of Wei's reach. Wei mysteriously receives an envelope sent by Jiang. In it, a flash drive containing video evidence that Uncle Po didn't die by natural causes or his wounds, but by Pendrew injecting lethal chemicals into Uncle Po's blood. Wei leaks the footage, which causes Pendrew to stay behind bars for a long time with the other triads that know he assassinated Uncle Po. Wei then thanks a police inspector for helping him while Jiang watches him from afar and orders him to leave him alone due to his loyalty, and then credit roll. Now obviously the plot isn't the only thing that makes this game so underrated. It's a Square Enix game after all. There are a lot of things you can do in Hong Kong. Do karaoke, fight in several tournaments, race, and even go on dates. Going on dates is such a common thing in this game to the point you can categorize this as a life sim like Persona.
I love you. I love you.
You can even customize your outfit, which depending on the set can give you buffs or even change your entire fighting style. Now the combat in this game is like any early 2010 game. Imagine Assassin's Creed 3 with martial arts. Attack and counter are the quintessential commands during this era of gaming, but Sleeping Dogs takes it to another level with grappling and environmental attacks. They are repetitive, but a good kind of repetitive. Like, look at this! How can you ever get bored from that? There are 3 skill trees, one for cop upgrades, another for triad, and finally melee training. To learn new moves, you have to collect jade statues, which are scattered all over Hong Kong, but they're easy to find, especially if you finish your day with Tiffany, which unlocks jade statues to appear on your minimap. What? You thought these dates were just for show? Obviously there are side missions like drug busting. Not that kind of bust, get your mind off the gutter. The side missions are surprisingly good. They're not repetitive. I'm looking at you, Valhalla, you greedy piece of shit. Now the other 2 trees work differently. Instead of collecting statues or specific items, points are placed depending on how you did in the story missions. Attacking, countering, using environmental attacks and guns increase your triad points and consequently your triad bar to get upgrades. Police points work differently. Instead of increasing your triad points, you're already given maxed out police points. You need to drive safely, don't cause property damage, don't hit people, or don't be clumsy. Meaning that when you parkour, if you don't time it right, your points will be deducted. It's a good balance since it's not tedious when you actually have to follow traffic laws because it's only for the story missions or cop related side quests. You can still cause mayhem however you want, just not in the story missions. There's also a pretty generic mechanic called face. On the right side of the minimap, there's a yellow bar that when full, it can buff you in unique ways depending on the face level. Like attacks unable to get interrupted, you do more damage, and even take less of it. You'll even automatically heal when you're in combat. Face can also benefit you in the open world itself, like a car valet who can bring your car anywhere and anytime. Foods and drinks buffs last longer and is more potent. You can level up your face by going on dates, doing favors and races. The higher your face is, the more quality and class a car or clothing can be purchased. Even though the guns are rare, they're fun to use and have variety to not make it feel repetitive. I think Sleeping Dogs took a page from Max Payne with its slow motion. When you vault and aim at the same time, you'll enter slow motion, and if you consecutively eliminate enemies, you can stay in the slow motion mode for a long time. There are a few cherries on tops besides the main game, like the DLCs with new missions and cosmetics, but I'm going to talk about the full-on big expansions with new stories and themes. Nightmare in North Point is a DLC released on October 30th, 2012. It starts with Wei and his girlfriend leaving the cinema when suddenly the ghost of Smiley Cat kidnaps her. Smiley Cat wants vengeance on the Sun On Yi. His name was originally Big Scar Wu. Uncle Po ordered to eliminate him for his recklessness. His corpse was grounded into cat food, hence the name Smiley Cat, which he despises so much. Wei's attacks do nothing since they're spirits, so you meet a man named, and I'm sorry for the pronunciation, How Fat Wu. How Fat Wu brews a special tea that imbues Wei's with magic necessary to defeat them. As you try to defeat Smiley Cat, you meet the ghosts of your enemies and they've also come for revenge. Wei defeats each one and finds out how to defeat Smiley Cat. He must burn Smiley Cat's remaining body, his pinky finger. Wei manages to burn the finger and defeat Smiley Cat, freeing his girlfriend. In the end, they head to Vincent's grave and leave his favorite bowl of noodles as a token of gratitude for helping him. As the couple leave, a final shot reveals Not Ping is possessed by Smiley Cat, evidence from his laughter. Fun fact, that shot is a direct reference to Michael Jackson's Thriller. It's a good DLC with unique missions and new moves. The side missions are not much, but enough to make you feel like you've had your fill. Honestly, can't complain with this DLC. The only thing I wish they did with the story is making Smiley Cat as Jackie Ma. Let me explain. Before Jackie died, he was agitated and thought that his life as the Sun On Yee was not fulfilling. It would have been a more compelling story if they put Wei's best friend as Smiley Cat, since Smiley Cat and Jackie Ma got eliminated by the Sun On Yee, which would correlate the vengeance part. Other than that, they should have changed some plot points about Smiley Cat's death and the reason he got his nickname, and even the nickname itself to correlate better with Jackie being Smiley Cat. All in all, this DLC is good. It doesn't drag the story for too long or rushes it. Now this next DLC is honestly my favorite. It's the Zodiac Tournament, released on December 18th, 2012. You can tell from the poster that this DLC was inspired from a number of 1970s martial arts movies. Most notably, Bruce Lee's Enter the Dragon. Wei is to investigate an illegal tournament taking place on a nearby island named the Zodiac Island. He manages to get invited as a contestant. After arriving on the island, the tournament master Dr. Zhang informs that the tournament is attended by the richest and most powerful men in Asia. Wei then chats with the other competitors as well as Little Fu, who claims to be a fan of Wei since he helped her uncle in the night market. Wei wins several lethal matches as well as traverses the island filled with booby traps. Before the next match, Little Fu offers Wei tea for better performance. Unfortunately, he gets poisoned. Wei manages to defeat his opponent and successfully cures himself via medicinal flowers. Wei and the other remaining contestants are summoned for a battle royale. Not that kind of battle royale, goddammit. When the contestants refuse, Zhang reveals that the ceiling is covered with spikes and will continue to drop until a victor emerges among them. They have no choice but to fight each other, but promises that whoever survives gets to avenge everyone else. Wei wins and chases Zhang. Another nice reference is Zhang's fighting style, which is an homage to Jackie Chan's Drunken Master. Wei wins and Zhang offers $50 million from the bets if Wei spares him. Wei refuses and eliminates him, with Wei leaving as the theme music plays out. Although there are collectibles that will give you new moves, I wish there were side missions. At the end of the day, this is a great expansion, especially if you like the old era of martial arts movies. The final DLC is Year of the Snake, released on March 12, 2013. Wei starts being a police officer again, but because of his ruthless actions in the main story, he becomes a beat cop, which opens the funniest scene I've ever seen from this game. Sadly, that scene is the only saving grace from the DLC. The missions are shallow and the story is lacking. Wei finds out that there is a cult who believes that the world will end after the Chinese New Year, which is why the cult placed bombs all over Hong Kong. 12 missions later, Wei arrests Master Chu, the leader of the cult. This DLC could have been so much more. I would have loved if they delved deeper into the cult and his belief, or learning more about Master Chu instead of hyping him up and then easily arresting him. All around, this DLC is super underwhelming. You know what would have been a better DLC? The 18K. Let me explain. In the main story, we know that the 18K want to eliminate the Sun On Yee, and that's also Wei's goal, but since he's also in the Sun On Yee, it doesn't matter to them. We don't know who the leader of the 18K is. We know some of the higher ranks, but to this day we don't know who is the head of the 18K or the reason why they want to eliminate the Sun On Yee in the first place. It could have been such a compelling story if they made a DLC about the 18K, since we barely know anything about them. I forgot to mention this, but when you're doing any form of password task, if you fail, the password will reset with a sound identical to another beloved game called Ben 10 Protector of Earth. So yeah, if you're itching for something new in the backroom catalog of games, Sleeping Dogs is for you. Or you can just play Black Flag for the 8th time. I don't know. The world is your oyster. Ubisoft, if you fuck up Sanquishal, I'm gonna come to your house and beat the ever-loving shit out of you, greedy piece of